Welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Daddy Longlegs, Charette.
Dr. Gordon, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Good.
Word.
I don't know if I'd actually say you're long legs or not.
I don't know. I think I have long legs.
You have proportionally long legs?
I don't know how to actually know if I have long or medium or short legs, though.
Well, I mean, you'd have to look at average torso lengths, for your height.
So I'd have to measure my torso and then measure my legs.
If you start getting a really short torso, you start looking like the frog from the WB network, you know?
Oh,
just got those
yeah.
big
Yeah. No, of course.
Yes, yeah. But I don't think you're that level. I wouldn't say that,
Yeah,
I would say pretty normal legs, Mike.
Yeah.
I would guess. But you know a daddy long legs, right?
Oh yeah, man. I grew up in a house made in like the freaking 1600s. So we had a lot of spiders.
What a goofy looking arachnid, am I right?
Yeah. But my favorite, one of my favorite spiders. We should have top 3 spiders.
Well, technically, Mike, they're not a spider. They're in the arachnid family, but they're not a spider.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And have you heard this? Have you ever heard this little claim about daddy long legs, Mikes?
Huh?
Mikes. Have you ever heard this, that they're the most venomous spider in the world?
No, I did not know that.
They're not. Don't spread that around. That's what
okay.
some people say, Mike. They say, I heard this all the time when I was a kid. Goobers would pick them up and be like, "Do you know this is the most poisonous spider in the world, but they don't have big enough fangs to actually bite human skin?" And I was like, that sounds like horse. And it is, Mike.
Yeah.
They don't have that. In fact, they don't even have venom glands. So, and they're not spiders. So they were wrong across the board. But, it still spreads all over the place. And they look goofy, Mike. They just look they got that huge legs, those just little wispy like a whisker leg, and then just this little teeny body on the top of it just bouncing around, like so bizarre. But that sort of feeds into what I was thinking about the other day, Mike. I was thinking about fears. Fears. A lot of people are afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
But I'm not
too.
majorly. I don't like them. I don't want them around. But I'm not one of those people that if I see one, I just oh, God, no. And just break down and start crying,
Yeah.
But I think me and you have similar, the number one fear, Mike. Health.
Yeah. Dying.
Number one, not being in good health, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And to me, that makes sense. I get it. Obviously it's my fear, so that makes sense. But I wouldn't call that an irrational fear, right?
No.
That doesn't seem irrational to me.
No, it's completely rational.
So true.
That's what kills most people in the world is bad health. It's the leading cause of death, and that's the scary thing. Cardiovascular disease, Mike, we were talking about it before we came on the air.
Yeah.
Over 20% of the population dies from cardiovascular disease. Something that ultimately kills 1/5 of the people in America should terrify the living bejesus out of you. Mm-hmm. That's a valid fear, Mike. I get that. And again, I get it because it is my fear. But this is why I thought about it, Mike. This is why this came up. Because I was on the old social media, the horrible world of social media.
That's a fact.
And for whatever reason on my search page, I see this video from a lady And this lady is like doing things to her car in the little preview image. Like she's like putting things in there and like putting things under the like carpet mats and I was like, what is this? Right? I was confused about so I was intrigued, let's say. Mm-hmm. So I went to the page, they sucked me in, Mike. Girl, come on. And I wish I would have actually written her name down because I didn't. I didn't like actually see what this account was. But the whole account, Mike, was dedicated to safety of yourself. And not like safe, like not like us, Mike, not like health safety, like safety from attacks.
Word.
Like the video that I went to, Mike, was her like safety proofing her car. So she was putting an air tag under the carpet. So if her car was stolen and she was in it, there would be a way to track it, And I don't even know what the was for, but she was putting like Vaseline on the door handle. And I was like, that like, so if somebody grabs
That's a Home Alone move.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I can't get in here.
I can't get in. It's too slippery.
But there were just a bunch of weird things like that. And like, that was the whole idea. Literally the caption of the video, Mike, was how to keep yourself safe in an unsafe neighborhood or parking lot.
Word.
And I was like, what the is this? It was just like, what? And I mean, and the crazy part, Mike, was she had hundreds of thousands of followers. This is like 800,000 people that were following this, right? And the most popular, because like I looked at them, there were other things. There was like, how to keep your kids safe on a sleepover, how to, watch out for your garage without a security video camera, and just like different things like that. But the ones that were the most popular, that were ridiculously popular, were the keeping you safe in unsafe areas post.
Sweet.
I'll say, Mike, that is an irrational fear.
So true.
That is a completely irrational fear. Like when you actually, start looking at the numbers, it makes no sense. And you know what it does when you have that irrational fear? It turns you into a nut bar rubbing Vaseline on your door handle, and everybody else in the Walmart parking lot going, what the are they doing? Why? Is that Vaseline? What is it? I don't get it. Like, but Mike, just follow me on this. What is more likely in America? You getting attacked by a random dude when you're at the grocery store, or you getting attacked by the people you live with?
People you live with. I mean,
absolutely, yeah. Mike. Absolutely. The statistics are overwhelming. Mm-hmm. You might as well look at your partner right now and be like, you stay the away from me, all right? Because that is a much bigger risk than you being attacked by some guy in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Second of all, what are the actual odds of a person getting attacked in a parking lot and murdered for their possessions or their car? It's nearly zero, Mike. We're talking way, way less than 1%.
Yeah.
We're talking like literally a 0.00001% chance.
Yeah, but higher in Walmart parking lots, I would imagine, or something
probably,
like that, right?
Probably, but like, I mean, that's why we see it on the news. If this happened regularly, you wouldn't see them be like, oh, Samantha went to a parking lot and was murdered. Like, they have that on the news because it's such an anomaly. They're like, what the happened to Samantha? That is such bad luck, right? Like, just to think about how many times you've been talking to a friend and they mention their grandparents passing away, right? They'll say, oh, it's so sad, my grand, or an aunt or somebody, they passed away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How many times does that person, when they say that, they followed up and they're like, yeah, and they were brutally attacked and murdered in a parking lot?
What?
How many times has that happened? I have heard that 0 times, Mike.
0. So far.
And it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining that it's 0, but I'm just saying it's 0. I've never had that happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... Now, let's go back to what we started with. How many times has a friend told me that a relative has died from a heart attack? All the time. That's constant, Mike. My point is, the likelihood of you getting attacked by some insane person is extremely, extremely low.
Yeah.
And trying to do something about it and keep yourself safe is a waste. It's futile. Don't do it. You're just wasting time doing stupid crap like putting Vaseline on your handles.
But dude, these 800,000 followers, they need something.
We're
running out of ideas.
We're feeding it in there, you know?
So true.
Mike, irrational fears. Me and you have normal fears, all right? These people out there, as my dad always says, the crazies are out there. We're sane in here, Mike. On the Doc G Show, sane, okay? Are you ready to fire up this heart attack preventing show?
Yeah, let's fire up this super safe, rational show, Doc G.
Amen.
All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Amen, Mike. Mike, we have some great artists coming to the Jacksonville area. We're actually going to play 2 interviews today. We're going to play a tidbit of one, and then we're going to play all of the other. And I'm playing both because they're both coming to the Jacksonville area here in less than a week.
That's right.
So we need to promote both. First, we've got Zakk Wylde, amazing artist, coming through August 8th, playing with Riley Green. They're playing the arena, Mike. They're playing ViStar Arena. 15,000 people looking down at them.
Wow.
Yeah. I asked him about it.
A lot of
They're
people.
Bananas. That's a big crowd right there.
Yeah. You ever worry about, any irrational fears?
Not irrational, actually, Mike. Zakk Wylde actually had a stroke on stage. We talk about it in the interview. Yeah. Now, his was a health anomaly. It was not like just, high blood pressure and other issues. Like, he had an actual genetic deficiency in the way that his capillaries were aligned. But he had a stroke. And the crazy part, it's near my hometown. He had a stroke in Roanoke. And we talk about, because he's going back there on this trip. In August, he's going back to Roanoke, and it's the first time he's playing Roanoke again since the stroke.
Face your fears.
Yeah,
face
dude,
that.
that's what I asked him, and he was like, oh, yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. I'm like, are you kidding me? If I were you, I'd be like, I'm never going back to that city, ever. It's off of the list. We're never going back. Like, but he's not afraid, man. And he's got some great tunes out there. Just came out with some cover songs. Can't wait. I'm going to play you a little, like I said, I'm going to play you some of the interview today, and then next week we're going to have the full-on whole interview there of Drake. But you got to make sure you get out there to see a show August 8th. We also, today, our full interview is going to be with none other than James Nichols. Oh, I'm excited. My God, Mike. I don't know if you remember. He's been on the show before, James. He was on the show about 2 years ago. And this guy, first of all, super nice guy. Always gives me a ton of time of his own. He just had a child like yourself, Mike. He's a little bit behind you. They just had their child literally a month ago.
Nice.
So his kid's name is Jet.
Oh, I like
Jet.
that.
I'm guessing his kid's going to come out to be giant because Jared's pretty giant. Jared, I'd be interested. I've never met Jared in person. We've been trying to set up a good workout date because Jared loves working out. He's a big lifter. We talk about it a good amount in the interview. You're going to hear it, listeners. Mm-hmm. But I'd be interested. In everything I see, it has him listed as 6'5". I'm wondering if that's like a short 6'5", if that's like an NBA 6'5", or if that's like the guy that doesn't want to be 6'8" and be labeled a giant, so he says he's 6'5", because I've had a couple of people like that. But regardless,
You're so tall, you lie about your height.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, he's a massive dude, though, and I'll tell you how I realized he's a massive dude. When I first interviewed him and I was looking at pictures of him, I was like, is that a junior guitar? Is he like playing one of those kids' guitars? And then I realized, no, that's a regular size guitar. He just makes it seem that small because he's that big. So, yeah, he's a large dude, you know?
That's right.
James Nichols, amazing guitarist. My God, he is amazing. We're going to also talk about, because he was a huge Ozzy fan. That's what first got him into playing the guitar in the first place, was he went to see Ozfest way back in 2002 when he was a wee lad of I think 12, 11 years old, something like that. But, yeah, just, amazing guitarist. And he's played with everybody. Like, basically every living legend guitarist he has played with. People like Slash played with him on stage. Joe Bonamassa played with him on stage. Steve Vai played with him on stage. Buddy Guy played with him on stage. Like, bananas.
Nice.
But yeah, and just like I said, nicest dude. He is coming to Jacksonville August 12th. He is going to be at the Albatross. You need to get out there. This is a solo show, and then he's doing multiple shows in Florida with Joe Perry of Aerosmith following that. So, very big deal. But before we get to any of those interviews, we need to start where we start.
Birthday suit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
That is correct. Mike, this one, yeah, I'm pretty confident on. I think you got this one. August, and it sort of gives it away with one of the clues. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Born on August 6, 1911 in Jamestown, New York. Throughout her career, she starred in musicals, movies, and TV shows, but by far, the thing that she is forever known for is I Love Lucy, which was created by our birthday suit wearer and her husband, Desi Arnaz. I Love Lucy was groundbreaking. It was the first scripted television show filmed on 35mm film in front of a studio audience. It is often considered the most influential TV show of all time. Our birthday suit wearer is seen as an innovator and a pioneer in comedy, specifically physical comedy. Sadly, she passed away in 1989. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Is it Lucille Ball?
There it is.
Nice.
Nicely done, Mike. Lucille
Cool.
Ball. Yeah. She, you always see the lineage, too, with Lucille Ball, that, she inspired Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett, of course, one of just the seminal characters in comedy, and then Carol Burnett inspired basically, every female comic you can think of, and most male comics that wanted to get into improv for the last 50 years. So just I gotta every now and then. I don't know about you, Mike. Did you ever watch any I Love Lucy?
We have, and it's pretty surprising some of the shows.
I will say that's the thing is every now and then, when I would watch it, I haven't watched it in a while, but every now and then there'll be a good physical gag that I'll definitely laugh at. They get me, and I'm like, no, that looks stupid. That was good. That was good. Most of the actual written, one-liners are pretty cheesy now that comedy evolves, but, the physical stuff, that never evolves. It's always funny, man. It's always funny. Well, now, one other thing, Mike. This isn't actually a birthday suit, but I did want to announce it. George Young. Have you ever seen the movie Blow with Johnny Depp about cocaine dealing?
I haven't seen that.
Great movie.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, check it out. Awesome movie. But the real George Young, because that's written about a real dude, It was his birthday today.
Okay.
And he's dead now. He passed away a couple of years ago. But and I had to bring it up for this, Mike. The real George Young was arrested in 1994. How much cocaine do you think he had when he was arrested?
3 pounds.
1,754 pounds
Wow.
of cocaine.
Way off.
1,700, and he was in Kansas. He was in Kansas with 1,754. I crunched the numbers, Mike, which I'm probably going to be arrested because I was Googling street cost of cocaine at different levels. I crunched the numbers. With street value of cocaine, that's $99 million worth of cocaine right now.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a lot of blow. A lot, man. And I'm telling you, that movie, you will not regret it. Watch it. It's a good one. Fantastic. One of my favorite, I would say my favorite Johnny Depp movie, actually. Yeah, well, yeah, it's tough because Pirates of the Caribbean I do love. But anywho, happy birthday to Lucille Ball, just an absolute legend turning, passed away in 1989. Mike, are you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, Doc G.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
Okay, Mike, this actually goes a little bit along with what we were talking about to start the show. But I saw this on a social media account, and then I had to go back and look up to see if it was true, sort of like the Michael Jordan thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
And this was true. This one was actually true. So I saw an article about a cat that could detect death.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so I went back, and that's true, Mike. There's actually like an article in the New England Journal of Medicine about this cat, Oscar the cat.
Sweet.
And Oscar the cat lived in Rhode Island in the early 2000s, and he lived at a hospice care facility. And he would, he had this weird ability. Whenever one of the residents was about to die, Oscar would just show up and lay beside them and just be like, hey, bro, don't worry. You just go ahead and die. I'm just going to sit here and sleep beside you. And literally, an hour or two after that, they would pass away. And he did this over 25 residents, Mike. Over 25 residents. I was like, I can only imagine how terrified everyone in that facility was of Oscar. Like, come in here! Everybody get out! Like, just like, oh no! I mean, good
Not
Lord.
the cat. Sir, you're
If I
dying
was-
anyways.
If I was working as a nurse, I'd be like that. I'd be sitting at the desk like, oh God, what's he doing? Is he coming over here? No, you keep going. You keep going, buddy. Like, I love cats, but that would be a cat I would be terrified of. Like, good Lord, Oscar, man. Sadly, Oscar passed away, not surprisingly.
Did a cat come and lay next to
There was
him?
another cat just walked in, and Oscar was like, oh, I've been Oscared. Oh. Mike, let's move on to a story from the one and only People magazine.
People.
Here's the headline. Mom accumulates more than 30 tattoos. Now she says she regrets every single one.
Aw.
Exclusive, Mike. So first of all, I want to address the exclusivity. I would say this is a People exclusive because nobody else wanted to write this article. Like,
Yeah.
who else? Was the New York Times like, oh, what? They didn't like the tattoos. Well, we better. This is first. This is headline material right here. Second, like, what, Mike? What is this telling us? Some people make dumb decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's about it.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean tattoos are bad. It means
No.
people are indecisive and don't think about what they do.
Yeah.
It also means people usually change their mind more than they do their underwear. Like, this is the same as dumb that adopt a cat and then give it back to the shelter after like a year because they said it wasn't nice to their kids or because they had allergies they did. Well, too bad. You got the cat. It's yours now. Like,
or because it laid next to them, and
well,
they read an article about it.
Like if they were in their living room and their cat came in and sat beside their aunt and their aunt died, I would understand if they're like, we need to get rid of this cat. This cat killed our aunt. I don't know what happened here, but like, yeah, Mike. People, like, I'm sure you could probably find like 1,000 people that did the same thing as this lady. It's ridiculous. I'm like, what? Yeah, okay, you got 30 tattoos and you're a moron. There you go. Gotcha. Anyways, Mike, I think we already mentioned. We already talked about your thoughts on tattoos.
You know, if I had a lot of money, though, I would get some tattoos, man. If I had a lot of money, I always have this kind of like, when I cross $1 million,
Yeah.
I'll get a tattoo. You'll know. That'll be the sign.
It just says across your forearm, millionaire.
I might get something wild. I might get something minimal. I might get like something, space related. I feel like I would go space if I got
Just
a
gonna
tattoo.
get a galaxy tattooed on your back.
Some coordinates maybe. I don't know.
All right. Think about it, Mike.
Yeah.
Think about it. Put some time into it.
I like tattoos. I think they're cool. I just I need more money to get one so that I wouldn't care.
Well, I will emphasize, if you're getting a tattoo, make sure it's somebody that can do it. That's always an important thing.
I want to get a really good tattoo artist too. Yeah,
it's one of those things that you don't skimp on money when you're getting a tattoo. Well, as long as you are a person that cares what's going on there. If you're Steve-O and you're going to get a in your face, it doesn't really matter anyways. Just go ahead and do it. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Mike, we need to take a break. We are going to be right back here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, what do the listeners need to do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, they should please subscribe to the show wherever they get their podcasts. We are everywhere. And hey, if you can't subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. Whatever you can do to support the show, please do that.
Amen. Amen. Mike, let's get right to it. Let's get right to those 5-star listeners.
Yes.
Here we go.
Shoutouts.
Shout out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Richardson, Texas, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Genoa, Italy, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Columbia, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Falkenstein, Germany, Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Frankfurt, Germany, Fort Worth, Texas, Boardman, Oregon, Phoenix, Arizona, Biloxi, Mississippi, Anoka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Purikai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, and St. George, Grenada. Yes, nice. Mike. New 5-star listener. St. George, Grenada. Mike, and I told you I'd look it up, and I did.
Grenada.
In the Caribbean, we say Grenada. And I don't know if we say Caribbean or Caribbean, so now I'm going to have to look that up. But we say Grenada. That is for sure. Mike, it's St. George. I looked this up. Little fun fact for you. St. George, only a few degrees away from the equator, and it's on an island. So that means the temperature basically just changes 3 degrees per year.
Oh, I love that.
Right? So, like, the high in August is like 88. The low in January is like 85. Yeah, it's nice. It's real nice.
Goldilocks of the Goldilocks.
You know, just right. Just right. Now, fun fact, Mike, I had a student that I taught that ended up going to St. George for medical school. So who knows? They could be one of the people listening right now in St. George.
Oh, all right.
And if they are,
appreciate that.
Shout out to Cassidy. Shout out, Cassidy. And if it's not you, then for not listening to our show.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that. She's pretty nice.
But thank you, Grenada, St. George,
exactly.
whoever
Everybody.
you are.
And Mike, to that degree, I researched, they're a super friendly island. You're like expected to exchange greetings. You're seen as very mean if you're on the street and you walk by somebody and don't say like, hey, how's it going? It's one of those places, which I got to be honest, I usually like those places, Mike.
Yeah, feels forced.
No. It becomes like it's not forced. I guess you could say if you don't feel like saying, hey, yeah, it is, like people are like forcing it down your throat.
Well, if you're expected to.
Yeah. But to me, that's the thing is like when somebody starts saying it, it's like an organic thing of like, yeah, I will say hey to you. And I'll tell you, nothing offends me more inside. Okay, there's probably a lot of things that offend me more. But it really gets me, Mike, when I'm going down the road and I'm trying to be nice with a nice friendly smile and a head nod, and somebody looks at me and then looks away, right? Yeah, they see me trying to make this greeting, and they're like, no. And I'm like,
not today.
And I want to grab them and be like, say hey to me, bag. You know?
Hey, I did.
But it's just that really it infuriates me, Mike. I don't like it at all. I'm like, I'm giving you a greeting, and you do not want to give me that greeting back. And I guarantee you, nothing dramatic has happened in their life at that point in time. They're just being a turd. That's. But Mike, one other thing here about Grenada, specifically St. George, they are native cacao bean, Mike.
Say what?
They naturally grow cacao beans for chocolate.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I don't know how Grenada chocolate compares to Belgian chocolate, which is without a doubt my favorite type of chocolate.
So true.
But I did check out, there's several chocolate companies on the 3 islands of Grenada, Mike. And they do have a very enticing bar at the Grenada Chocolate Company, like a chocolate bar. They call it the Nibblicious Bar.
That's right.
Ooh, I like that.
And it's Nibblicious because it has the cacao nibs in it, the little pieces of the actual cacao bean, which make it nice and crunchy in there.
That.
Oh, it's good.
I got to try that.
It's good. Mike, but one other thing about Grenada that I'll say that I'm not...
I have to order it.
Yeah, get in on that.
Writing this down.
Nibblicious. Mike, one thing I'm not a fan of, they do have a couple of volcanoes. In Grenada, a couple of volcanoes.
That's not good.
Yeah, now, only one of them is considered live, Mike. All of the other ones are...
Well, that's one too many, Doc G, in my opinion.
Exactly. This is Mount St. Catherine that is considered... But Mount St. Catherine is considered dormant. So even though it's a live volcano, it's considered dormant. But it's like we talked about, Mike. I love how, so I looked up Mount St. Catherine. I love how they say in the Wikipedia page, they say violent eruptions occurred in the Pleistocene era, but this type of volcanic activity is now considered unlikely to occur in the near future. And It's not a vote of confidence for me, Mike.
No, unlikely.
Like,
Not good
that's
enough.
all really vague terms.
Because likely is in the word.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, they'd make me feel great if they were like, there's a 0.00004 chance that this will happen in the next 10 years. I'd be like, oh, okay, that's basically nothing. But, like, they just are like, it's probably, maybe not gonna, I don't know. Maybe not gonna happen. We'll see. Like, it's not what I need to hear about a volcano.
No.
I need some definite answers, Mike.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you, Grenada. We are very happy that St. George
Stay safe.
is listening. Mike, real quick, the 4 stars. Charlotte, North Carolina, shout out to you guys. Orlando, O-Town, shout out to you. New Orleans, Louisiana. Miami, Florida. Austin, Texas. Doylestown, Pennsylvania. That's on the other side of the state, Mike. That's not near Altoona. That's a Philly suburb there for Doylestown.
Oh, okay.
So they're not eating weird pizza in Doylestown. Singapore.
Missing out.
Singapore. Newcastle, Australia. Manchester, England. Madison, Wisconsin. And lastly, Portland, Oregon. Mike, we are going to take a break. We are going to listen to a little bit of a snippet here of the Drake White interview. Like I said, we're going to get a little. I'm going to give you a teaser, guys. We're going to talk about him getting ready for this this upcoming show here in Jacksonville, and then we're going to go straight into the interview with none other than James Nichols, right here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are super excited to be welcoming a singer-songwriter who is out on tour. He is playing the ViStar Arena with Riley Green on August 8th, and he's playing the Wild Greg Saloon in Lakeland on August 9th. He just released a group of covers titled Scattered Smothered Covers. Mr. Drake White. Drake, how are you, sir?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I am, as I've said the last couple of interviews, I'm a summer man, so I'm just living in my happy place right now.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, summer's when life happens,
Exactly. You feel it. You feel it in the summer. Now, let me ask, since I brought it up there in the introduction, you're no stranger to big crowds. You've done big crowds in your day. You've done massive stadiums, but you're gonna have a 15,000 person venue when you come here to Jacksonville with Riley Green. Is there any different approach when you have a huge crowd like that, or do you bring the same energy, same approach to any show?
I bring the same approach, same energy. I've always said 10 or 10,000. I'm gonna give you the same show, as I always do.
I love it.
There's a difference. The energy that is pushed back to you from a crowd of 15,000 is different just because the magnitude of it. So you have to just kind of, you have to breathe through that and kind of, maybe some inexperienced, back when I was a little less experienced on stuff like that, you'd get excited and you would rush songs, or you would do things where, songs would just be quicker. But yeah, it's just kind of breathing through it and enjoying the capacity of it, enjoying the moment of it, and enjoying that energy that's coming off the crowd, because there's a lot that 15,000 compounded heartbeats can give off.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are thrilled to have a returning guest, a titan on the sixth string, a man that has never shied away from rocking some denim. He has a whole bunch of shows coming up here in Florida. Let's see, we've got 6 shows, including Jacksonville on August 12th. We have none other than James Nichols. Jared, how are you, sir?
Brother, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me yet again. I can't wait to get back to Florida, man.
Of course, man. I mean, you got a lot of fun shows coming up. I mean, you got the solo show here in Jacksonville. You got the shows with Joe Perry that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. But let's start with the here and now. You are a dad.
Dude, I'm a dad. I had to corner myself in a room where I wouldn't disrupt the baby. I'm a dad of today. It's been 4 weeks.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jet's about a month now.
1 month today. Oh, 1 month tonight, man. It's crazy.
That's why. How is he sleeping? Is he sleeping pretty well?
He's sleeping pretty well. And you know what's funny is a lot of people will say, they'll be like, "Oh man, how's it going? You know, you got a kid, you know, are you guys getting rest?" And I'm like, dude, I kind of like live on the road, and the way that I travel and operate, being up a few times a night is pretty normal. So
you're used
he's
to
sleeping
it.
pretty good, man. Yeah, I'm used to it. We're stoked though. It's hilarious. Like, he's such a little peanut, man. And to be a dad, it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm a dad.
It's pretty. How is he with the guitar? Like, like as far as the sound.
He loves the sound of it. He's super cool. He's been hearing me play every day, you know, and I got it nice and low, so I'm working on some different stuff. But
nice.
What's hilarious is Jet already has 6 guitars.
Wow.
So he has Cesar, who is the CEO of Gibson, hooked him up with a guitar with his name on it.
Wow.
It's like legitimate flying V. He's got these 1-string guitars. One of my friends, he's actually gave him an old vintage Les Paul. It's crazy.
Good
it's
Lord.
just crazy. I'm jealous of my son's collection already, man.
If he has, it's going to be really depressing if Jet is not a fan of guitars, and you're just going to be like, can I take those?
Hey, can I use your guitars, man?
He is accumulating a sweet stash there, man.
I would say, yeah, he really is, man. It's hilarious.
Well, what about, we talked the last time you were on the show, of course. You are a fitness man, specifically lifting weights. You love to get in the garage, crank some iron.
Every day.
Has Jet thrown you off the game, or you've been able to lift with Jet?
Dude, well, I'll tell you this. What was really wild was, he came like 2 weeks early. So what was funny is I had a bunch of recording and a bunch of stuff I was doing, and all of a sudden it was like, stopped, right? And that's totally cool. But the one thing that's been a constant is, since he is up like 4 times a night, and Amanda, my wife, she's great. So like, it'll be like 5 a.m. and I'll wake up and I'll be like, you know what? I got 2 hours. Got 2 solid hours. So I've been getting it in, which is great. And it's been good for my head. And
nice.
Yeah, dude, I'm lucky in that way. But here's the thing. I got it set up at the house. So my garage has all my amps. I got all the gear out there. So I just get to walk outside. I think it'd be a lot different if I had to drive to a gym. You know what I'm saying?
Be a huge difference. Yeah. I mean, the home setup is important, you know?
Yeah, I can just walk right out there.
Very important. Well, I got to ask, I mean, you're obviously, you're a big dude. You're a big dude. What's the goal when you're in the weight room? I mean, now it sort of seems like you're sort of like, it's a little bit just like clearing the head, getting some muscle action. I mean, it can't, I was thinking about it, like as far as actual goals that you have for your workouts, I'm guessing it can't be hypertrophy, is it? I mean, you've already got so much hypertrophy.
Dude, to be honest, here's the thing, it was forever. I was, about this time in 2012 is when I first started lifting, like at all.
Yeah.
So it's been like 12 years. But the thing is, it was always like, dude, I need to bulk up. And it got to a point where like I was on a perma bulk. So I was just always, then. I mean,
you can watch your progression. You can look at like, I mean, you can go back to like 2016 and just, it's like,
dude, if that's when I met Zakk Wylde.
if you do a lot of pictures, you can sort of just go through like a flip book and just see a beef up
Get
there,
a little
man.
bigger, a little bigger. But dude, that was the thing. So like 2016, I went on the road with Zakk Wylde, and he was training every day, and I was watching every one of his sets, and I was going, man, dude, he's in like really good shape. And I remember like getting really heavy into it, and I kept building. But then it got to a point during COVID where, like everyone, when we were locked down, I just kept going and going. And now it's hilarious because I weighed myself this morning. I'm 256 pounds, right?
Woo. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need to gain any more weight. Yeah.
I mean, that's, I mean, you get to a point where if you're not like bodybuilding, if it's not a part of your like, career, it's a pretty big hassle, man. It's like, because I mean, then it becomes like you're going upstairs and you're like, because like you got to carry all that weight.
And not only that, like, to be honest with you, as much as I travel and the certain things that it requires food-wise,
the calories, yeah.
Or whatever else you have to do, I'm not really in the mindset to do that. So for me, it's like, okay, now I'm at this point where I'm like, I want to look good, I want to feel good, but also it's like that cool, like, like I said, it's like, it's almost like you get like a reset. And
it's an outlet. Yeah.
And being on the road, like now it's hilarious because I was so lucky to be home right now. So we have these Florida shows, then I go out with Shanker, and then I go over to Europe. So I still have about 80 shows till the end of the year. So now it's just about like feeling good, kicking and just rocking.
Yeah, well, it's definitely like, I mean, the other thing too, it's like you mentioned, I'm sure you noticed with Zakk, as far as his workouts, to get that hypertrophy, you got to have volume. You gotta increase those workouts. And that's the thing that a lot of people make a mistake of in their programming is they'll try to increase their load. And that's the only thing. They just keep, and you're like, you're going to hit a wall, man. You can't just keep increasing load and see an actual increase in volume. And so
totally, dude.
And so like, that's, but the problem is when you're increasing that volume, there's only so much volume you can fit in one day, especially if you have a kid and you got a full-time career as a guitarist. So you're going to find a point that you're like, I'm not Rodding Coleman. I can't do this 5 hours a day.
Like, and also, man, like you said, with the volume versus weight situation, it's like I started to even see it where I was like, I was putting up some weight, and it really hit me when this was probably about 6 months ago. I was in the garage and I was just squatting. And I was doing squats and deadlifts, and I was going back and forth. And I had 405, and I was squatting. And it was feeling pretty good, but I'm telling you, there was a point where I felt a little bit where I was like, oh, like, am I going to get this? And it was a little bit of a twist in my back, right? And I remember at that moment, I literally said to myself, I'm like, what am I even doing? Like, you know what I mean? There's this point where, and it's not about, being, like, oh, I don't do that or whatever. But you start to say to yourself, you're like, what are the goals? Like you said, it's like I started going a little bit lighter in the weight, like you said, and just really trying to focus on getting a good pump. And, the other thing is just trying to zone in on that diet, man. Just keep that consistent, especially while traveling.
Yeah, well, it's funny, like you were talking about as far as the weights, like whenever I was actually full-time training people and I would get a client that said, hey, I want to gain muscle mass, I would make a program that was very sort of bodybuilding centric, of course, because that's what they wanted to do. And a lot of times I would take out squats completely because we were in a gym. We had all kinds of, you had leg press machines and hack squats and leg extensions and all these different machines in there. And so there wasn't really a need to do that full squat. And like the funny part though was it killed them. They're like, why are you taking out squats? I was like, because you don't need them. And they were like, but like, I want to get bigger. I'm like, yeah, you don't need squats to get bigger. I was like, we can do all of these other exercises, and it's not a drain on your knees. It's not a drain on your back if you don't have great form. And trust me, if we're doing that high volume of squats, your form is going to suffer.
Oh yeah, buddy, 100%, man.
And so like it's just fun. It's like you said, it's funny. Like a lot of people, it's in there. And the same thing with the volume. You know, I try to drop people's weight so they can focus on time under tension. They can focus on the volume. But taking off that additional weight, like when they're doing bench press, it's just such an ego hit for them. When I have to tell them, you know, take off that extra set of 45s and go down from 225. They're like, what? Ugh, but I can lift 225. I'm like, I know you can. That's not the question. Like,
right, 100%.
It's,
what's funny too, man, is when I talk to Zakk Wylde all the time, you know, he'll be like, what's going on? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like go check in or whatever. And the biggest thing he said too is like, you know, he's obviously all about like volume and now with how much he's traveling and whatever. But he said to me, he's like, dude, he goes, you need to cut. He's like, cut 15 pounds. He's like, cut down a little. He's like, watch how you'll feel. You're going to feel better. He's like, you're going to look better. He's like, you're going to look a lot more aesthetic, you know? So there's all these things that I think, like you said, in your mind, you think, oh man, I got to keep going on this one track. But in reality, it's like, no, you don't. You know what I mean? So it's
play
cool.
around with it. Yeah, play around with it. And I mean, like the cutting, he's totally right. Like, I mean, you talk about when you cut some of that fat, like, and you think about it, that's the thing is like, it's not like you got a ton of it, but when you cut that fat, it's just dead weight. Like, I mean, all it literally is dead weight. It's stores of energy. So when you take it off, like all of a sudden, like I used to do that with weight loss clients. You know, I stole it from Biggest Loser, even though that show's dumb in so many ways. But one of the things that they did that was good was they would, when people would lose weight, just to sort of remind them, they would give them a book bag with how much weight they had lost and told them to work out. And I mean, that's really, when you think about it, you're like, holy crap, I was carrying around all this weight. Makes so much difference. Like you said, you feel so much more powerful and so much more like just functional when you lose some of that weight. It's pretty wild. Wild.
Man, that's awesome. That is really awesome.
But speaking of Zakk, I did want to move, of course, into music as much as you love rock and as much as you love metal. I got to mention it. Losing the Prince of Darkness. I mean, he had to be pretty devastating for you. I mean, I think I heard it was partly seeing Ozzy at Ozfest 2002 that inspired you to play the guitar.
Yeah, man. Like all of us, we all have these, like, I always felt like Ozzy, it seemed so much more personal because all of us have these stories and this connection of when you first heard it. You know, it's like the soundtrack vibe of your life, right? And like you said, for me, I grew up a mile away from this Alpine Valley Music Theater, which like we would walk there. And it's where Stevie Ray Vaughan played his last show. I remember being a little kid selling water and soda to the deadheads that would be parked on the road in front of my parents' house. My parents used to let them camp there, you know, like like it was crazy. But when we went there, I didn't know really what I was getting into. I was, of course, like a Sabbath fan. I'd heard like Paranoid and all that stuff. I wasn't even playing guitar at this point. And when we got there, I remember we were like the first people there. It was like 9 a.m. and they gave us these wristbands and we were like, what does this wristband mean? Wish I still had it. And it said, well, you guys get access to the pit because you're the first ones here. You're like the diehards. So we got to go in the pit. And I remember, dude, I'm telling you, when first we saw, obviously, when Zakk walked out, I was like, whoa, like that dude's like a superhero almost, right?
Yeah.
You know, like it was this vibe where I was just like, what is that? And then he hit the guitar and then Ozzy runs out. And this was the era when he was throwing buckets of water. So like, dude, it was just so crazy because I think the biggest thing for me that struck me with it, not only was the music, but it was the energy and the excitement. Yeah. Because it just felt like I was like witnessing something that was like obviously larger than life. It just had this power to it. And it also like puts you in that moment where you feel like anything's possible. And you're like, you walk away and you're just like, that was incredible. You're so high about it.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, moving forward, the next year I got to see Sabbath and then I got to see Ozzy again. And it kind of, once I started touring with Zakk and, you know, we became really good buddies, you know, I would hear all these stories and stuff, which was insane. And then it was Ozfest, I believe 2017 or 2018, I can't remember, that we got to go side stage, me and Amanda, for Ozzy. And it was like, dude, it was just so cool. So like many of us, I mean, Ozzy's like a soundtrack. I don't even know what else to say. It's like watching the news or whatever. It's like, it's always there,
Yeah.
whether you know it or not. And yeah, that was I remember when he passed too, literally all of a sudden I saw Momoa posted something, and it was a picture of him and Ozzy, and at the bottom it just said RIP, and I was like, what? And then instantly, dude, my phone ding 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 ding, and it was like, Ozzy died, Ozzy. And I was like, probably for yourself, dude, it just felt weird. You're like, really?
I mean, he seems omnipresent, like, and I mean, the thing though, I will say, a couple things. One, you were talking about like the energy, you were talking about like what you feel at an Ozzy concert. Like, that's one of those things that him and I would say Metallica, to me, more than any other sort of groups, they put it all out on the line in concerts. Like, you didn't see Ozzy off of his game. It didn't matter if it was back surgery. It didn't matter if it was debilitating diseases. He was going to go out there. And, I mean, even that last show, obviously, it is not the Ozzy we knew. But it was everything he had at the time. He was going to go out there. And like, that's, to me, that was on, like, obviously, you don't want to see him go. But to me, like, there was a ton of like honor to me that I was like, he went out on a shield, essentially. He said he wanted to go out basically dying on stage, and he pretty much did it. Like, I mean,
and you nailed that.
And just I just that to me is just so like about Ozzy. Like, when I did see all of those notices, like you at that time, I was like, it took a while to process, but at the same time, I was like, at least he got to do it like he said he sort of wanted to do it,
Yeah, man, and there could have been so many other things we could have, like getting through that show. I remember talking to people that were going to play it or friends or whatever, and I'm like, and they were like, man, hopefully it happens. Hopefully it happens. So people were like already very on the fence about it. And the fact that it, like you said, that it went off the way it did, man, it was just like the ultimate send off.
Yeah.
And I don't think we realized the magnitude of it until now. Like, now looking back, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like I was, like saying, as far as just like his ability to put on a performance, that was what he was focused on that whole time was, okay, who can we get that this is going to make it the sort of, best send off. I mean, you've got all these great young performers, you've got all these great masters like Metallica out there, and it was just, and also going back to the thing that you were talking about before, he generally seemed like such a nice guy. Like, I mean, that's the crazy part about it, is like he just seemed like, you watch all these interviews, and even all the way back to the Sabbath days, he's known, of course, because of this character, because of what he went out and did. But like every interview, you see him and you're like, this is the Prince of Darkness,
like, this is the guy, Also, like, what a icon in a way of like, and don't get me wrong, there's so many artists and bands that have crossed generations of, but with Ozzy and the Sabbath thing, it's like, the fact that they were he's still making music and like records up until basically the end here.
Yeah.
I mean, from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, like every generation of kids had a different Ozzy soundtrack. And it's just wild, man. It's the magnitude of Ozzy. And what's funny is yesterday I was jamming Sabbath and I was jamming Ozzy, and I think on Spotify I noticed, I think it was like 64 million monthlies for Ozzy. So clearly, I mean, everyone's still talking about it, but clearly you can see the power that people are literally, whether they knew it or not, they're going back now and they're listening to that part of their life, or, remembering all that time. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think a lot of it, and I talk about this with a lot of artists, but you know, I think the thing with Ozzy, I mean, it's like any amazing artist, authenticity. That's him.
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
him all the way, like you said, all the way through from
Yep.
the Sabbath days until the end. He sang and wrote and did what he felt. It wasn't like, hey, I'm trying to be something. Oh, grunge is in. Okay, I'm switching to grunge. Yeah, you can hear those influences in the sound of what it
Sure,
was
sure.
like from the eight, but like he made songs that he wanted to make, and he made them with the people that he was making, and like it's just it's authentic. It's
Yeah,
him.
it's authentic. Yeah, man, it's timeless too. Like you even hear like the production and like the '80s stuff, right? I was listening to some of that Ultimate Sin and whatever, and you're like, yeah, clearly this was made in a, you know, the sounds, the sounds,
Mm-hmm.
but the music and the message and all of the core of what it is, it's timeless. So it's
Yeah.
like, no matter if we're listening to Iron Man for the billionth time, or Crazy Train, or Deep Cuts, I mean, I was listening to stuff from like, I was listening to Osmosis for like a week because that
Yeah.
was the record when I was a little kid. I remember like, I was 5, 6 years old, but I remember that was some of the first Ozzy I ever heard.
See You
So
on the Other Side, man. Such a
yeah,
like actually like sort of underrated track because like it's not even in his like top 15 on either of the streaming services.
that goes to show you though, dude, right? How
The
many
catalog.
songs,
Yeah.
the catalog, the songs never lie. And that's the biggest thing with that guy, man, is just like the amount of amazing songs and performances. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, like you played you did a little tribute on Instagram there. You
Oh yeah.
played No More Tears, the
Yeah.
solo as a
Mhm.
tribute there. And I just got to say, man, isn't that one of the like the best solos of all time? Like
Yes. Yes, it
that
actually
solo
is.
is so awesome.
Bro, I've said to Zach, like straight up, like I'll be geeking out, like, and the fanboy will come out at me, and I'll be like, "That is one of the greatest solos ever recorded.
Yeah.
Everything about it, the tone, the timing, the touch of the note, everything is perfect."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, we were just hanging out. Everyone was watching football. I was just sitting in there, and we cut it." And I'm like, dude, like that solo to me defines that era of Ozzy. But
Oh
also
yeah.
that solo, if Zakk Wylde, and dude, he's literally texting me right now. It's hilarious. if he never, I'll have to tell him we were chatting about this.
Yeah.
If that was the end, like this sounds dumb, but if No More Tears was the end of Zakk Wylde's career, like say he hung it up, you'd be like, yeah, dude, you're still one of the greatest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
that was his Crazy Train. Like,
Mhm.
and I mean, and to me, and again, I know true Ozzy fans would go probably insane with this, but to me, it's a better solo than anything Randy Rhoads did. And like, I mean, like maybe not technically, maybe not
Sure,
like,
sure.
but as far as like in the song, like you said, it's a perfect crescendo. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
this, it builds, and then it's just this explosion where you just, oh, it's visceral, man. And then
Well,
there's nothing left afterwards but that bass line, and it just
and then it builds right back up. Oh yeah.
and you just like it's like Zakk walks in to a Wild West saloon and just annihilates the whole room and then
Yes.
blows the top of the gun off and walks out. Like
Yes,
it's
dude.
just, it's
It's
insane.
it's such a statement, and it's every time, I swear, man, probably like you, every time I hear it, I'm just like, yes, dude.
Yeah. Well,
It's a perfect
it-
combination.
It reminds me actually of like you've probably seen this clip of where Ozzy is listening to Crazy Train.
Oh
And
yeah. Uh-huh.
they isolate the guitar solo, and he stands up just because he's so moved. And it's the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing. Every time I hear that solo from No More Tears, I'm just like, yes, man.
Dude,
Like it.
It's crazy how good of guitarist Ozzy surrounded himself with. Like
Yeah.
seriously, obviously. So I'm with you. I grew up in the Zakk school, obviously, because to me that was like what I heard, and when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's everything. But
Yeah.
there's people with the Randy thing, and I get
Yeah.
it, and I understand where he was going too. But dude, between Iommi, Randy, Zakk, and then all the in betweens,
Yeah.
Jakey Lees and Joe Holmes, and
Yeah.
it's nutty, dude.
Well,
There's
and
no
it-
other artist that's had it like that.
It's one of those things that it shows you too. Again, they gravitated to the authenticity of Ozzy, the great just musical ability that they're like, yeah, if I work with this guy, my work will shine through. I don't have to worry about it. Like,
The most coveted guitar role probably in the world, like
Yeah.
especially when Zakk was joining. Think about that when they were doing auditions and stuff.
Yeah. That's
I know
big
I've met
shoes
so
to
many
fill.
people. Oh yeah, dude, I've met so many people too, like on the road or whatever, and they'll be like, dude, I auditioned for Ozzy back in the day, when Zakk got the gig. So it's like, if that's true or not, but many people have told me that. So I think that it was a very, very high prize to get that
Oh,
gig.
absolutely. And unless you're talking to somebody like, Steve Vai or somebody along those lines, you're like, you probably didn't have a chance.
Yeah, dude, you probably didn't have a chance before you even tuned up, man.
Yeah, but I also real quick, like you said, I gotta say, as much as we just talked about No More Tears, the song, the album to me is a bit underrated.
It is.
People are constantly talk about Blizzard of Oz and Bark at the Moon, which of course amazing. They talk
Right.
about all the Sabbath albums, but No More Tears, just so many bangers. I Don't Want to Change the World, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Desire, Hellraiser, and Hellraiser. I mean, the deluxe version when you get Hellraiser with Lemmy.
Oh yeah,
man.
dude. Oh yeah, that's so good.
Oh, it's wild, but yeah.
Time after time.
Yeah.
I was what else? Road to Nowhere.
Yeah, it's
mean,
it's
those
one
are-
of those that you can just go all the way through.
Yeah, you can listen to that whole record up and down.
Well, now R.I.P. to Ozzy, of course. I mean, he's not going anywhere.
No.
But speaking of legends, you got to play with one just at the start of the summer, which was bananas. You got to play with Buddy Guy.
Yeah, dude. How cool was that?
Now I'm guessing he. I think I saw you say this. He was one of the dudes too that you started practicing once you actually got into guitar. That's one of the
Yes.
guys that you were trying to imitate.
When I got into it like really heavy, like after I first broke through the first kind of, the solid ground, it was like, the guys like Iommi and Jimmy Page and David Gilmour and like the Mount Rushmore of classic rock.
Yeah.
Then I discovered the blues stuff. It was Stevie Ray Vaughan. And
Yeah.
that led me through a whole nother path, which was like B.B. King, Albert King, Otis Rush, Buddy Guy. I mean, I went deep down that rabbit hole and I love all that style. It's just like, it was almost like, I found like a treasure chest of like that emotional kind of guitar playing.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. And Buddy Guy was one of those big guys for me that when I was coming up learning, I would learn his stuff note for note. So you'll love this, dude. I was in LA. We were recording. So I just finished a record, right? We were recording the rest of it at Dave Grohl's studio, 606. And I remember I'm sitting there and I'm going, man, today's a great day. I'm cutting. Everything sounds great. I'm at 606. We're cutting.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I open up my social media and there's a message there from the Buddy Guy page. And I was like, interesting. So I hit it. And it was a video of me playing a blues. And it said like, this is amazing. Buddy Guy wants to cut heads with you. And I was like, so I respond. I was like, wow, thanks for saying that. Like,
I'll have to think about it. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. And then his guitar tech was the one that was on there, and he reached out. He goes, he legitimate sends me dates like on a flyer, and he goes, hey, this is the next tour. Any show you want to come play at, let me know if it works. And at this point, I was like, really? So I saw, since I live in Nashville now, I saw Nashville, and I was like, oh, dude, there's a Nashville date. It was Nashville, Indiana, which is like up by Indianapolis. And I was like, well, that's like 2 hours away. And I was like, I guess I'll go there. So dude, I go there and I'm like, what? I was kind of nervous, but like also like just like stoked.
Yeah.
And I walk in the back and immediately Buddy starts chatting me up. He's saying all these stories. And it's like with the guys like that, it's like you're literally talking to like one of the last sources to a bygone world. So he's telling me stories about Hendrix or how this insane guitar player I love, his name's Earl Hooker. He's from Chicago. If you know the song I Can't Quit You, Babe, that Led Zeppelin covered, it was his version they did. But he's like, oh yeah, Earl stole my wah pedal. and I went to his mom's house, and I kicked down the door to get and I'm like, he's talking about stuff that happened in the late 50s. And I'm over here and I'm just like, this is crazy. And I had a little glass of whiskey I was sipping. And he goes, what are you drinking? I was like, oh, dude, I had to get a whiskey. And he goes, you like cognac? And I was like, sure. Next thing you know, we're drinking cognac together. It was so crazy. And then I got to jam with him. And what was so cool is I played one of his guitars during the performance.
Ooh.
And that was sick. But then like at the end, they kept me up. And at the end, Buddy like goes and he like shakes hands in the crowd and like gives out roses or whatever. So his tech literally just gives me Buddy's guitar right off of him. And he goes, so I go out and I'm playing it. And dude, it was so cool because I watched him play that whole thing. And then I'm jamming on it. I was like, this is so sick. Yeah. It was awesome, man. It was awesome.
I mean, that's, I always point that out, but like artists like that, it's obvious. He's not trying to prove something. He's not trying to stay up at some level. He just loves jamming. He loves to play. Like, he's 90 and he's still out there jamming. It's insane.
It's insane. Dude, that's the thing too. Like when me and Amanda went in the back and we were chatting with him, he just looked tired. He looked like a 90-year-old man. And you go, wow, man, like this is kind of wild. Like, I can't believe he's still out here. But I'm telling you, dude, when he put the guitar on and he went out on stage, it was like somebody plugged him in. And they were like, and all of a sudden he was just like, it was so amazing to see. And I looked at Amanda, I was like, if I even make it to, think about these days, it's like 90 years old and he's still playing like that. It was so crazy and inspiring, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like he is one of those and it's one of those things. If the classic trope, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Like he hasn't worked a day 100%. In his life. Like it's crazy. But you just mentioned the new album. So you were at Studio 606. And what can you tell us about the new album? How is it going to compare to the self-titled album back in 2023?
So the one thing I'll say about this new record is I'm so excited about it. I really am. I took the last probably year since that first record came out. I stopped writing between records. I was on the road, of course, and doing my thing. But what I tried to do with this record was the one in 2023, we cut that live. We cut it straight to tape. It was all about like the energy, the excitement in the room and how it felt. And I love that record. But what to do is retain that energy, but come in with the best songwriting I've ever had. Nice. And I dug really deep on these new songs for this record. And I'm pumped, man, because I think that we came out with something crazy and it's a little heavier in a lot of ways. Okay. And it's not heavier in sort of a metal way. It's just a lot more of a full sound. I really dove into like the sonics of where I wanted to go with it. And it's almost like I had to you have to look behind to look forward. You know what I'm saying? So I was digging up records that were some of my favorite stuff like Mountain and all these crazy old blues rock bands. And I remember sitting there going, the sound is so full. It's even like some Zeppelin stuff you hear, you go, how is it so full? So like literally, dude, I'm sitting right next to it, but like I started to like get into like old stuff, you know. It's gonna be great. I'll tell you first off, we have music coming out and we're gonna have some stuff coming up for this upcoming tour. And man, it's awesome. The feeling of, it's an amazing feeling to work on something with all your might and no one knows about it. And then all of a sudden you're just like
unload. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, now, dude. It's just like, here you go. And it's like, what's this? And it's like, oh, yeah, it's just a record I've been working on, but it's like the past 2 years of, you know what I mean?
Well, now I was gonna say, like, I mean, that's the thing is like you look at like the streaming numbers that you have, and like people love "Honey, Forgive Me," and
they love it.
I mean, that's always up there as far as one of the top. And like, I mean, I think that's a real funky song. Like, I mean, you got some real groove in there on that one. I mean, would you say you've got some songs like that on this new album? Because, like you said, it's heavier, it's a fuller sound, but it's not necessarily like metal.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so with this one, it's like, so that Honey Forgive Me song, I remember too, and you'll love this, man. I remember when I came up with that one, I was kind of playing it for a few people that I work with, and I was like, oh, I think this is something pretty cool, you know? It's like it's simple, but it's kind of catchy. And I remember certain people were like, nah, no way. And then I was like, I think we're going to do it. So we put that on the record. And the first song that people started to gravitate towards was that one. So what, you know,
honestly, the record people, that's, I mean, and you know, you didn't point out anybody in specifically, but like, as far as like the number of stories that I've heard of so many people that aren't the artist that will tell the artist, no, that's the horrible one. Don't do that.
Yeah,
like,
that's not it.
It's just so often they just don't. I mean, how can you tell what people will like? I mean, you know, it's tough.
That's the thing too. So like for this upcoming record, like I got really honest with myself about it because, and it's not even like a selfish thing, but it's like, do I like this? Like get out of my own way a little bit. Do I actually like what I'm doing? Or who am I like serving with these songs? Is it like, sometimes I feel like if you're like, oh, I'm just going to try and work on something that's going to feel really good and people are going to like it. It's like, that's not what people connect with. People connect with stuff that feels really real. So that was the first goal. And then, like you said, also you got to kind of expand out of the box, even on a way things feel, you know, like that song's got a funky vibe to it. It's got a backbeat. So some of this new music, man, it has that different groove where it's like, oh, okay. Okay. You know, there's some stuff that pushes really hard, but there's also some cool funky stuff.
Well, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about with Ozzy. It is true. You got to be authentic. You got to be what you want to hear as the guy that knows what they're doing with the guitar. I mean, the listeners don't know what to do with the guitar, and they don't know what they want to hear. So, like, it's, I mean, to me, it's always funny because, like, I always tell artists, like, if I know myself, and I know if I were in your shoes, I would just keep looking at the numbers and being like, well, this one's popular. How do I recreate
what's
that?
up with this?
That's
totally.
you know, and so like I would just fall in love with trying to make something that was popular before popular again, and that's not what, you know, that's not real artistry right there. So,
well, you know, what's funny too is I have friends and people I love that's what they do, but also they're chasing something that's really big at the moment. Where it's like, oh, this is kind of taking off.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're trying to follow trends. And you already know where I'm going with this, but it's like, that's kind of like when you start to uncover a trend or you're seeing something, usually if you're at this point where you're like, well, let's make something like this, it's like, we're kind of going to be behind it. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing I always find is, especially when something connects with people, like you said, and it's authentic, it's not a trend. It's the real deal thing where it's like, it's not even about necessarily a song. It's like, I like this artist. I like this band. Yeah. You know? So sometimes I'll be like, man, who's this band? And then I'm like, I get in their headspace and I'm into their world and I'm going, God, this stuff's great, man. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's sort of like we talked, I think this was with some fellas that you've played with before. At the start of the summer, we had the old Moon City Masters on the show.
Oh, yeah, of course, man.
And
love them.
Those brothers, so nice, so positive. But we were talking about like artists that, you know, the sort of following that trend, like you said. The best people at that are like the really great musicians, but the bad chameleons. They like, you know, the ones that are just amazing musicians, but then when they try to mimic that, whatever that popular thing is, they don't actually hit it. It comes out something completely different. And you go, oh, well, I do like this. You tried to hit this, but it's completely different. And like, I know the listeners have heard this 1,000 times from me, but the one I always point to is Eddie Van Halen saying that he wanted to make an AC/DC song, and he made Panama. And you're like, yeah, that's not That's not AC/DC at all. But you know what? I'll take it because I love Panama.
Dude,
Like,
of
it's
course.
amazing. Like,
Yeah, it is amazing, really, to think that way.
it's I mean, that's where you get it into some benefit of like following trends but like that's a sort of a 1 in a million thing to be that person.
Right.
Do you when you write songs and you were like digging deep for these songs in this new album, are you a guy that sort of creates them differently every single time? Are you like a riff thing will stimulate you sometimes, or a song lyric or a melody? Is it different every single time?
This time it has been different every single time. Usually what I was doing previously was I was thinking I worked with a guy, Eddie Kramer, famous old producer.
Yeah.
And he told me when we started working together, he goes, "Hey, Jared, guy like you, it's all about the riff. You got to have great riffs, man." And I went, "Totally. Yeah. I get that." He goes, "The riffs are your backbone." And I absolutely agree with that. And what I wanted to do on this kind of round was say, okay, cool. I always started with riffs. It was like, okay, here's the riff. Let's put a vibe or an idea or words to it. And a lot of times on this round, I started to say, what's an idea? What's kind of a storyline, or what's kind of a let's like create like a little feeling, or like what are we trying to say? And there's songs on here, that are like I have some songs on here that are really simple messages that are, whether they're like, just straight down the road messages, but it's like, okay, cool. How do I take this and make a riff that matches the intensity of what I'm trying to say? And that's where I started to come up with some different stuff, because it was like, well, that's a cool riff, but it sounds like maybe a little bit too generic. It sounds a little bit too middle of the road. And it's like, this idea kind of gives it, you can turn a little bit here. So it's like, I was able to craft the riffs a little bit around the ideas, which is something really new for me. Something I've never really done. And as well as that, on this record, I started to think more. I used to always play the songs live and say, okay, let's field test them. But with this record, man, I wrote these songs and I got together with the band, and we were in a circle and we were playing them back and forth, and we just sat there and we were like, oh no, this feels better. It was like we meticulously kind of sculpted them before we ever played them for anyone else. Before it was always like a feel thing where I was like, oh, let's try it like this. Let's try it like this. This time it was like, no, let's craft these songs. Let's put them in the right way. And then we'll inject the energy and the, everything else. So that's
no outside influence to start.
Exactly. It was like, let's go in a room, make this music, and then we'll go play it.
Yeah.
And so far, man, we started field testing some of these songs now, and it's been killer, dude. Like on this next run, we are going to add, for a headline set, we're going to add like 6 new tracks.
Nice.
But also, even for these support slot shows, we're going to be adding a few new songs. So I'm excited, man.
That's got to be a great feeling as an artist, like getting to put those new songs in and seeing the response. I mean, you get that energy back.
Yeah, dude, shedding skin is a really healthy thing sometimes, and I mean that in a way of like, it's almost like getting these new songs out there. Like you said, it's a new energy, and it's like, it's just bringing something new to the table, not only for the listener, or if someone's seen me play a bunch or whatever, it's like, it just feels good for me to kind of turn a page and start to play some new music.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I talk to any like legacy act that's been out there for, 30 years, 40 years. Even though nobody's really listening to their new songs usually, they're always the most excited to listen to or play those, because like, it's new stuff. They're like, hey, I'm excited about this. I just made this. Like, check it out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's so cool. And that's the best part about playing, music sometimes. It's just that energy that you have as a performer. Like, it's like, I haven't really done this much. It brings something new and fresh to the table.
Yeah. Well, now, real quick, before we mention the shows again there in Florida, you've got your most recent release. You actually put out a song with Mark Morton on his solo album there. Yeah. And, man, that album, That's got some great guests on it. Like, I mean, that's got all kinds of Jason Isbell and Cody Jinks and Grace Bowers and just, I mean, super cool. Now, how did you end up being on that project? Because, like, I mean, you know, I mean, he's a unique character. I mean, comes from a very metal background, like,
Dude,
you know.
Yeah, you'll love this though. Like, me and Mark, we first bonded over guitars, old guitars. And I want to say it was probably about 2 years ago I met Mark, and we started messing around with old guitars and texting each other stuff back and forth. And Mark, I remember like another moment. I remember getting Guitar World, dude, when I first started, and Mark was on there with his big beard and like he looked really intimidating. You know, it was like, and I was like, that guy looks cool. But then when I started to tour, or when I was touring, like I went through Richmond, where they're based. And Mark's like, dude, I'm coming out. And it's funny when Mark would come to the shows or people would see Mark, you know, we'd roll up. They'd be like, dude, that's like Richmond royalty, man. But we really bonded over the guitars, and you know, we started chatting it up. And Mark has a really big love, which is hilarious due to the Lamb of God thing. He has a huge love for blues. He has a huge love for all that stuff. So that's where, you know, we started together. And then he hit me up. He goes, hey, man, I'm making a record. I want you to guest on it. So he was in Nashville recording. I cruised over. I jammed on a track with him, right? And you'll love this. It was so funny. He's like, hey, dude, there's a few tracks. We're waiting for a few guests to potentially hop on. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. I'll play on whatever you want, man. I'm just happy to be here. So I play on a track, right? And it was super cool. And like 2 weeks later, he calls me, he goes, hey, man, I got some bad news. He's like, I actually offered that track to Jason Isbell before you, and he really wants to play on it. And I was like, dude, cool. He goes, but I got something even cooler. He's like, we're going to do a track with Troy from Mastodon. And then I was like, oh, dude, sick. So like, it was an amazing experience. And Mark's like one of the chillest, coolest guys I've come to know. And he just had a baby, and we were texting pictures back and forth of our babies. And he goes, hopefully 2 blues players for the next generation. So that was pretty cool, man.
He is again one of those people that undercover. It's funny because I mean he's from, you know, Virginia, like you said, down the road from where I grew up in Virginia, and like he's got like this whole, like you said, blues country background, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, I switched to the hardest metal you can think of when I actually started playing. Like,
it's insane. It's insane.
And random thing about Mark, my friend who lives in Richmond actually lives in the same neighborhood as him.
Oh, that's really cool.
Because like I was talking about my show one time with him, and he was like, because we were talking, I've had a bunch of other like artists from Richmond on the show, much less metal than Mark. Like I had like Carbon Leaf, who's sort of a popular like late 90s band there, and then The Head and the Heart, which was a, you know, big like sort of pop band. And I was telling him about this, and he's like, dude, I think I got a musician in my my neighborhood actually, but I don't know if he'd be for your show. And I was like, what band is he? He's like, Lamb of God? And I was like, the metal group? He's like, yeah. I was like, I mean, hey, I'd love to have him on the show. I was like, but he was like, yeah, it's just sort of weird because, you know, you hear their music and it's like heavy stuff. And then I see him in the neighborhood and he's just like, hey. And I'm just like, I'm
the chillest guy ever, dude.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, you know, you got to keep in mind, it'd be a weird thing if he just came out of his house like super metal, like tearing things up, and just like that's not most metal dudes. So, you know.
Yeah, dude, it's like a yin-yang situation with a lot of those metal guys. I notice is, you know, as heavy as they get musically, then all of a sudden you meet them and they're just like, hey man, it's like just real mellow, real mellow.
They get it out. They get it out on the stage. They get
Mhm.
all the anger out there. But like I mentioned before, you've got these shows. You've got the solo show, which is very exciting here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You also have these 2 shows in Florida with Mr. Joe Perry.
Yes,
of
man.
course, Aerosmith. Now, I've already asked you about all these different legends, but
Yes.
where does Aerosmith play into, like, you getting into music and playing and everything like that?
Man, yet another like soundtrack situation. I knew Aerosmith's music before I knew who they were, right?
Yeah.
Listening to classic rock like as a kid with my parents. Like a lot of us, obviously, that's like these people are like legendary, but they're really, really cool dudes. And when the opportunity came up for these shows, it was like, hey man, Joe Perry's doing some shows. Do you wanna guest on them? And I was like, yeah, man. And my first thought was, I was like, this is so cool. And then when Joe knew that I wanted to get on the shows, he immediately said yes. And Joe actually went recently on a podcast, and he was like, he said he was so grateful or he was so cool about me. He was like, oh man, Jared's, one of the best guitar players come out in the last 20 years. So he was like above and beyond cool. And the band is amazing. Brad, of course. And then Chris Robinson singing, DeLeo, Eric Kratz on drums. It's insane. So I'm really excited for these shows. I think first and foremost, it's going to be so much fun to play them and just bring energy, but then also to just be there and watch it. It's going to be pretty awesome, man.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about this. Like, you've played with so many legendary guitarists. I started like going through like all the files. I mean, the Buddy Guys, the Joe Bonamassas, the Zakk Wyldes, the John Fives, the Steve Vais, the Slashes, the new guitarists like Grace Bowers. Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, first of all, that's got to be pretty awesome when you look back on it. Like, man, I've got to jam with all of these amazing guitars. But I was wondering if you could think about it and think about your 3 favorite jam sessions. Not like who you thought was the best, not who you thought like, who did you have the most fun with when you were on stage playing the guitar? Like, for whatever reason, and again, no slight to any of those people, but like when you were playing, it just would all the factors came to play, and you felt great doing it.
First one, Leslie West of Mountain. This would have been in 2018 at BB King's in New York City. I opened up the show and then I jammed with him. Nice. That was number one because I was like, to me, he's like, he's right up there with Hendrix and Clapton and those guys. So like that one, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Yeah, that was like a prophecy dream come true. Then the second one was jamming with Skynyrd. I got to jam with Skynyrd. I opened some shows for them, and they invited me up. This is when Gary was still alive, and he goes, "Hey man, come jam the encore with us." And I was like, "Okay, what are we gonna play?" I'm thinking we're gonna play Freebird. He goes, "We'll do Sweet Home Alabama." And I was like, "Okay." And then literally, man, we are walking on stage. He goes, "You take the solo." And I was like, "All right." And he goes, "Do the intro too." And I'm like, I better not screw this up. So that would have been number 2. And then the third one, it was Bonamassa came to one of my shows when I was in LA. I was jamming at the Viper Room, man. We had a really good night. And Joe goes, I was staying at his house actually, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I got a show at the Viper tonight." And he goes, "I've never played there." And I looked at him, I was like, "You want to?" And he goes, "Sure." So he comes down there, man, and we go off, dude. I mean, we play like 45-minute jam. Ooh. But what was so cool and what I love about Joe so much is that he's so good, and he's like, not in a way, and that's the best guitar players, I feel like. They're not shoving it down your throat in a way of like, look how good I am, or look at how much technique I have. With Joe, it was like we were having this amazing conversation that we'd start whispering, and then all of a sudden we'd get high and we'd be screaming and then bring it back down. And then I just remember that was so cool, especially with all these jams. It's like I get to live out like one of those dreams of being on the stage and being in that moment. You know what I mean? And it's like it's really special, man. I'm super lucky for all that.
I mean, to me, like you just said, like the great guitarists, it's like comedians to me. As far as like with comedians, it's not necessarily, hey, look at how many jokes I've got, look at how many I'm putting them out. The timing, the reaction, the personality of them, it all matters. And when you are that funniest person in the room, you can lay it down perfectly. And like you said, like those great guitarists. It's the timing, it's the tone, it's the reaction. Again, especially like you said, when you're jamming with another guitarist, like, can you make it? And I'm not gonna point out any of the jams, but I've heard like you jamming with and there's a varying level of, I can tell you're vibing with some of them a lot more than others, as far as like you're trying to find, like you said, you're trying to have a conversation. And you're sort of stepping on each other's toes a little bit at some point in time, like, okay, whoop, nope, not there. Okay, like, but like some of them, it's a perfect conversation. I'm guessing that Joe Bonamassa show was just back and forth butter, you know?
Yeah, you're so right. There's some where it's like, oh, we're not really getting off on the right foot. But one of the other ones that was amazing. Every time I jam with a good friend of mine, Frank Hannon from Tesla. The original guitar player. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but every time we play guitar together, dude, it like clicks. Like, and it's not, I don't know what it is, but we both look at each other and it's like, he says something, I say it right back. And then all of a sudden we say it, and it's like, it's really weird. But that guy, I'm telling you, one of the best jams as well. Like multiple times it's happened, but I jam with him and I'm like, man, it just works.
Well, it's amazing thing about music in general. It's like, I mean, that's the thing that's like, I am not anywhere close to a good drummer, I would say. I am a passable drummer in some regards, but like some people that I have played with, bass and guitar, you just automatically, when you start playing, you go, hey, why are we speaking the same language? Why does this work so well all of a sudden together? But then you can play with other people that are amazing, and you know they're amazing, but for some reason it's just, you're like, no, we're not doing it right. There's something wrong here.
It doesn't gel, man, and that's the cool part about music, you know, and like that's one of the most exciting elements is sometimes you'll play with someone and you'll go, man, it's like not unknown, but it's like this unknown territory. And then all of a sudden you have this amazing connection with someone through that music. It's awesome.
And I mean, like you said, on stage, when you're doing that in front of, a couple hundred other people and they're seeing it, it's a feeling like none other, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. It's the best, man.
Well, now you've got 6 shows in Florida. The first one is the solo show here in Jacksonville. So Jacksonville people, you need to come out, see some blues power. You're also giving some signed Black Star amps away, right?
Yeah, man. So anyone that's going to come to that Jacksonville show, we had a special promo running. I wanted to give away. So with Black Star amps, we came out with like a bunch of different models, but one of the coolest ones is this little Bluetooth speaker. You can plug your guitar in, you can play it, has great tone, and you can rock it. And what I thought would be cool, since it's my first headline show, anyone on social media, if they sent me a DM or like a screenshot that they bought tickets, I was going to enter them in a raffle for a meet and greet hang after the show, but also I was going to give them one of these signed amps by my viewers truly.
That's all. Listeners, you still have time. The show is this weekend, so August 12th. You can get that Black Star amp. You can hang with Jared, and as you can see, for the last hour, we've had a great hang. So,
dude, it's always great. Yeah, man.
So you can have that opportunity. Probably not an hour. He probably doesn't have that long after the show, but you can hang with Jared. It'll be a fantastic.
Yeah, man. Let's have a beer. Let's have a good conversation. Whatever it takes, it's great.
Absolutely. Listeners in Jacksonville, make sure you check out the show. Jared, I want to thank you for coming on the show again, man.
Absolutely, dude. Anytime. And man, I said it last time, but one of these days, like, we should really get a workout in together, man. Hang out.
We got to crank some iron. We got to crank some
Let's
iron.
do it, man.
Well, now, listeners, again, one more time, the 12th at the Albatross. If you are in the Jacksonville area, remember the Albatross is where Underbelly used to be. They're under new management. So if you're wondering where that is, same place as Underbelly, just a different name. Everybody else in Florida, 5 other chances to see him. But you only got one chance to see him solo show. That's Jacksonville. Right. So make sure you check it out right now. Let's take a listen to the song there with Mark Morton there. We're going to hear Nocturnal Sun with Tori Sanders, Mark Morton, Jared James right here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. My goodness, Mike, Jared James Nichols, such a nice dude. Like I said, he was after we finished the interview, he was like, "Hey, man, thanks again for having me on the show." And I was like, "Yeah, thanks for being on the show." And he's like, "Let me grab your number again, man." And he was like, "We need to work out at some point in time. We need to get a lift together." And I was just like, Jared, you're a stand-up dude, man. You're a stand-up dude. And Mike, I don't know, did you go down any bit of a rabbit hole when Ozzy passed away as far as Ozzy music?
Not really.
Not really? Well, let me tell you, I did, of course. I do love Ozzy, just great music, right? And we talked about it in that interview. That song, No More Tears, I know you're not a huge metal head, but if you go back to No More Tears and you listen to that solo, that is one of the best guitar solos like you can get in a song, man, and just amazing. And the fact that Jared did a little recording of it himself on his Instagram there, oh, that's so cool. If I could do that, I'd probably do that everywhere. I'd just, carry a guitar around and just play that all the time. Just come into boardroom meetings with a little amp and put the amp on the board and just rock out,
Yeah.
Got to be such
It's
got to be such a feeling, a euphoric feeling when you can rock out something like that.
Yeah, solos are so cool.
Yeah.
I when I was in my guitar phase, I was learning some Mayer solos. I like John Mayer, and they're a lot of fun to play because it's like its own little song in itself.
Well, it's a melodic breakdown, my friend.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. But don't miss your chance to see one of the best guitarists in the world. He is an ambassador of Gibson, my friends. Gibson, one of the greatest guitar companies in the world. He is an ambassador. I think there's only like 4 Gibson ambassadors. It's like him, Lizzie Hale, and Slash, and like somebody else. And that's the only ambassador. So he's a big deal. You want to see him rock out on the guitar. And like I said at the start of the interview, he's probably going to be wearing denim when he rocks out because he loves denim. He's always in something, Gene. Jean jacket, jean vest, jeans, cut-off jeans. He's in them all, Mike. He's a big Gene fan. Yeah. Anywho.
Love jeans.
I got to be honest. I'm not a huge Gene fan. I mean, like, I don't mind them, but I just haven't worn jeans that I can't remember. Like 8 years or something like that.
I only wear dark gray or black jeans. I don't wear like blue jeans.
Yeah. You've evolved past the blue. Uh-huh.
I just only wear black and grays.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Well,
emo.
Listeners, don't miss out on your opportunity. Albatross, August 12th. You got to check him out. And after you buy your tickets, like you said, if you DM him, you could have a potential to win an amp from him and hang out with him after the show. And like that interview, that's a good hang, I can tell you right now. It'd be a good hang. So, Mike, we need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike C, Top 3.
That is correct. Now, Mike, this is a topic that there's a ton of different options, and I think it's a pretty fun one. I came up with this one a while back. Top 3 places to pee on a road trip. So you're going down the road. What are you scanning for on the exits that you're going to say, yes, I can stop to pee? Now, Mike, to me, the most important thing about this, of course, is sanitary level, and then potential as far as peace and quiet, right?
Yes.
What are you trying to do? Now, I said pee, but we'll include all bathroom breaks. So number 1 or 2, right? And, of course, number 2, if you're doing that, you're going to need some peace and quiet.
Yeah.
And you're definitely gonna need you're definitely gonna need a clean area to do it as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, honestly, none of these are number 2 worthy. I'll go to a hospital for that. I'm very. These are all peace spots.
Very sanitary. Mike comes.
I'm private. I'm sanitary. In fact, I really
bidet.
I'll hold it for days.
Yeah. Now Mike's gonna turn brown because he's holding it. Mike. Okay. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do. I have 3. Very quick.
Give me the honorable mentions.
Yeah. So first of all, this is a Florida thing, and I think that one of these is when I come from Orlando to your side of town. There's like those island gas stations where
in the middle,
they're like right off. Yeah, they're like right off the highway.
Yeah.
And usually there's like a Dunkin' Donuts and some kind of pizza place, and it's like a little food court.
Yeah.
I love those spots.
Nice.
Also, I like this place. So when I go to visit my dad in Arizona, the Vegas to Arizona drive, there's this gas station called the Last Gas Station. And of course, it's only the last gas station for, there's another gas station like half a mile, maybe less. But it used to probably be like the last gas station. But I do think it is like the first major gas station after you kind of drive through the hills from the Hoover Dam. So there really are no. So and like I download a lot of coffee before I go drive to my dad's house, and so by the time I get to that gas station, it's a
you've been holding it for a good while.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last one. Actually, no. I think that those I only had 2. Yeah.
Okay. Mike, I could, if we went through every single gas station, I could probably list them in my order of which one I would go to first,
So true.
Out of all of them when I see them on a sign. But I also you got to scope it out because it's not always just by the company. Like some of them are much nicer than others, and you're like, oh, okay, that's looking good. And some of them are more busy than others. Like I don't want to go into a place that's got 400 people buzzing in there like some kind of beehive that I'm like, oh God, this is a lot. But Mike, my number 3, and this is mainly to the cleanliness factor and size of most of these. Sheetz or Wawa, depending on where you are in the country. So Sheetz and Wawa both are very nice.
Sheetz are
they
good,
usually keep them very clean. They're also this doesn't really matter too much for peeing, but they're very cold. You come into them, and the cold usually just makes me think it's sanitary, and usually the cold also makes it stink less in a bathroom. So. I enjoy it on that level, but yeah.
Why is that? Why does it make it stink less?
Just the molecules become more volatile, Mike. So when something it's a very interesting thing. When I worked at the gym, we lost air conditioning 2 times. That was the most disgusting smell you have ever experienced when we lost that air conditioning. It was just so musty, Mike. Oh my God, it was gross. Anywho, yeah, it becomes more volatile and it gets into your nose more, essentially. You just get higher activity of those little smelly molecules. Anywho, Sheetz and Wawa, that's my number 3. Mike, your number 3.
My number 3, Love's gas stations.
Number
I
2,
love
Mike.
Love's. Yeah. Love's are
Number
good.
2.
Love's are good. Lots of space, lots of bathrooms, showers, even though I would never use them, and quality snacks. And for all the coffee drinkers, there's like a million flavors of coffee. They've got like every type of coffee you could possibly want. Love's gas stations.
They're usually, too, I don't even know if they make them not like the travel stop, Mike. I mean, it's a travel stop, like... And so it's pretty huge. When I was doing research in my graduate program, I had like a 2-hour drive I had to do every week. And that's where I stopped in between that 2-hour drive making it was at Love's Travel Stop. And it was nice, Mike. What kind of snack did I go with?
Wait, what?
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its?
Cheez-Its, Mike. I was gonna say,
Cheez-Its are good.
I was about to say, the reason I hesitated, I was about to say Ritz, and I was like, I didn't go Ritz crackers. What are you talking about? Cheez-Its.
Similar, I can see.
I mean, they're crackers. That's basically it.
Yeah.
I love some Cheez-Its, Mike. Ooh.
Man, Cheez-Its are so good. Yeah,
They're
they got
like the most
haven't had
unhealthy
Cheez-Its
thing
in a
ever,
while.
but they're delicious.
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Like a good
love Cheez-Its.
Cheez-It pepper jack. Oh, my
Yeah.
Lord. That's my favorite, man. I could eat those for days. For days. Okay, Mike, your number, let's see. I said my number 2, so your number 2.
My number 2 would be, I like just the traditional rest stops. I like
number 1 for me, Mike.
I mean, we don't have too many options, right?
Number 1.
Yeah, rest stops are good because, like, similar to the island situation, is they're easy to get on, easy to get off.
Yes.
Parking's always easy.
Yes.
I've once or twice maybe I've slept at them.
Mike,
I feel
same
safe.
same trip that I was doing with the Loves on the way back. I would take a nap every time at the rest stop, about halfway in between. So I would, I'd just roll down the windows, roll my seat back, and just sleep for a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
No way, rolling down windows. All my windows are up, doors are locked.
Guess what, Mike?
Nervous.
Going back to our opening segment, I was never murdered doing that. So, what do you know? What do you know? Now, granted,
not on this timeline, Doc G. Not on this timeline. But hey, parallel universe. We don't have to get into it. But hey, I'm happy in this timeline you're still here.
Now, surprisingly, I would say what's more. I guess I was lucky on was that nobody called the cops thinking I stole the car and was like, a homeless dude is sitting in this car. Oh, no. You got to call the cops on him. Anyways, I love rest stops, Mike.
Yeah. Rest stops are good.
Most of the time, they're clean. They've got a good janitor staff in there that's cleaning them out. That's the only deal that's going on there. You don't have to worry about like going through and looking at the cashier, and the cashier's like, "You're just taking a crap in here, you dirty son of a." You know, that everybody knows that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. Like, you know, and so we're all in the same boat. Plus, it's got a great, nice area that you can stretch your legs. You can walk around. There's always a nice little green area around it.
I was going to say, one of the, at least maybe out here, and then definitely some of them in Florida, they're always kind of scenic.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, they're in the middle of the woods, or they're at the top of a mountain, or I don't know. They're always pretty scenic.
Yeah, and usually they have a good, like, little, like, information desk.
Oh, yeah, a little information
You can
desk.
get little pamphlets about the area and whatnot.
Yeah. Also, hey, for all the skateboarders, skaters, good skate spots at some of these.
Yeah,
not
and
always,
usually
like
the great
low
thing
security.
is most of the people that are there, old people and families. Mm-hmm. So you don't really have that many jack hanging around there, which, like, you go into a gas station, you got a lot of jack hanging around there that you're like, oh god,
here we go.
But again, like I said, you go to a rest stop, everybody means business. We're here to do one thing, and that is use the bathroom, right? Like, I like it, Mike. Rest stops, without a doubt, my number 1. But what is your number 1?
My number 1, McDonald's. If I'm on the road, man, I want to go somewhere familiar. And I love sausage biscuits and hash browns, and I'm usually traveling in the morning. And if it is later in the evening, double cheeseburger, sometimes a meal. But restrooms are always clean most of the time. I can always count on McDonald's. And
an interstate McDonald's is going to stay clean. It's when you start getting away from the interstate that the cleanliness of their bathrooms can start to vary.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Generally,
for sure.
And you can't go with a McDonald's in a gas station.
No way.
Those are not going to be. No, it's got to be a standalone McDonald's. But I can see it. Mike, with that one, it's too dangerous for me, though. Like you said, I'm going to come out with like 3 double cheeseburgers and be like,
cardiovascular disease.
I was just trying to use the bathroom. Oh, man. See, and that's another thing with a rest stop. Basically, all you got at a rest stop, just vending machines. Yeah. And I'm not going to be too tempted with the vending machines.
Limited options.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. But with the McDonald's, I come in there, that smell is a brewing. Those fries are a cooking, and I'm just like, I got to get in there.
And you're in vacation mode, travel mode, whatever the case may be. I always give myself less restrictions when I'm on the road for eating and all that. And
Fair enough, Mike. What's our topic for next week?
Yeah, let's just go right on down the line. Okay. Games to play with a group of people.
Okay. So now, listeners, just a little bit more detail on this. We're talking like, what would you, if you have a group of friends, and this could be inside, this could be outside, but you've got a good group of friends, and let's say it's enough to play whatever you want to play. Inside, outside, games. So I'm talking Monopoly. I'm talking Capture the Flag. I'm talking kickball. I'm talking basketball. I'm talking, I don't know, beach volleyball or water volleyball. Anything that you have a group of people playing, what would you say, we got to do that? Can we do that? So there you go. Good stuff. Mike, we've got 2 birthday suits left. Which one do you want to hear? I've got one that there's no way in and I'll give you about a 2% chance on. And then
0.0004%.
Oh, it's a volcano. Nice. And then the other one, I like 85 to 95%.
Cool. Let's go with the hard one. I'll go.
Okay. This one's more just for everybody's edification. This one's one we need to celebrate, Mike. Born on August 6, 1881 in Darvell, Scotland. Our birthday suit wearer went on to be a physician and a microbiologist and was the first person to discover an antibiotic substance, which he called penicillin. It's called by some the single greatest victory ever achieved over disease. He won a Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1945 and passed away in 1955. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Is it Joe Penicillin?
Correct. Nicely done, Mike. No, listeners, don't write down Joe Penicillin. It is not Joe Penicillin, and Daddy Longlegs are not the most poisonous spider in the world. These are all myths. It is Alexander Fleming, Mike. Alexander Fleming. I mean, think about that, though, Mike. That is pretty awesome. Like, for you to be Alexander Fleming, to be a guy that you're like, oh, by the way, I literally saved millions and millions of people's lives. Like, every year, hundreds of thousands of people were dying by bacterial diseases. Right. And then he made this, and all of that changed. Like, that's like the opposite of inventing the nuclear bomb. Like, you saved all of the, like, it's wild.
That's a really good point. That is a really good point. Yeah.
Like, he just, like, literally just snap of a finger just saved all of these people's lives, which is just, Fantastic, man, which is why he, of course, won the Nobel Prize. And most of the time when it's ranked the greatest Scottish people ever, he's always at the top. Well, not always at the top. Usually like what's his name? William Wallace from Braveheart. They made William Wallace. He's the top. Ridiculous. But in the top 3 is always Alexander Fleming, which is definitely makes sense. Mike, the last birthday suit here, born on August 6, 1965 in Key West, Florida. I didn't know that until I looked at this. But our birthday suit wearer went on to be a fantastic basketball player. He went to the Naval Academy for college and was drafted number 1 in 1987 by the San Antonio Spurs. Over his career, he was a 10-time All-Star, a 10-time All-NBA player, Defensive Player of the Year, scoring champion in 1994, rebound leader in 1991, blocks leader in 1992. He was a part of the Dream Team and the Olympic team in 1996, won 2 gold medals there. He was the MVP in 1995, and he won 2 championships in 99 and 2003. He was part of the 50th anniversary, and he was part of the 75th anniversary team. His nickname is the Admiral. Name that birthday suit wearer.
David Robinson.
Correct. David Robinson is correct, Mike. I mean, when you look at his overall stats, my God, he had a career, man. And the crazy thing is that was in a pretty good, center time of year. I mean, you had Shaq when he was playing. I mean, he wasn't at his greatest. It wasn't at his height yet. That was really at the tail end of Robinson's career. But you had Shaq, you had Olajuwon, you had Ewing. You had a lot. You had Dikembe Mutombo. You had Alonzo Mourning. You had a lot of good centers, man. And, I mean, look at all of those. The 10-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA player. Bananas, man. And that dude was ripped. Like, you look at him back in the peak back in 96 and stuff. Good Lord, he was jacked.
I didn't know he won a championship in 2003 for some reason. I feel like that was later.
Sort of already an afterthought, honestly, because he wasn't playing nearly as much. I mean, that was 16 years into his career. So,
okay.
But anywho, happy birthday to Alexander Fleming. Happy birthday to David Robinson. And happy birthday to Lucille Ball. We need to wrap it up for this week. I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus Ferticus Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And until next week, zip it up and zip it out.
Zippity-doo-dah.